Yo, what is up, guys? It is Enigmaze here, and I'm back with another video of Duelyst. My new PC has not arrived yet, so I can't stream PC-related content just yet, but it is supposed to be here by next Tuesday, so when it does, get ready for some more, well, maybe not more, but for some high-quality videos and some quality content. For interesting stuff. I'll actually be able to record cool things now, instead of just recording off my PS4. But anyway, in regards to this video, today I want to show you just a deck that I threw together, to be completely honest, and was surprised by, how it felt. It felt good. It felt like the kind of deck that I like to play. It fits my playstyle, and I just face rolled a few times. So I thought, you know what, maybe I should share it with you guys on YouTube. Now I should say that you're probably not going to find a lot of like super epic, rare, and legendary cards in here because I probably don't have them. I play Duelyst sort of on and off. When I do play it, it's like an addiction. And when I don't play it because I'm playing an MMO or something, then I might go like a few weeks of not playing. So, will this deck have the greatest of cards there are in the game? No. Will this deck have some interesting cards as well as an interesting playstyle and be flexible? I think so. I should also preface this by saying that I haven't really browsed any of the forums or watched any videos on Duelyst, so while I'm not going to claim that this deck is completely original, because who knows, someone else out there might have a very similar deck. I haven't seen it, but then again I haven't really looked. Like I said, this is just something that I threw together and was surprised by and thought I'd share with you. So this deck can compete. Obviously, it's not hard to compete in bronze. It can do pretty well in silver. If you make a few stupid plays, then that's going to kill you. But that's in any division, really, not just in silver. So I feel like this is a interesting deck. If you have a lot better cards and you're a lot better player than I am, then you can swap it out. But this is just something interesting that I think you guys will like. It's called Blazing Prison, and it's with the Vanar faction because Vanar is the best. Why do you people not love Vanar? I don't know. It's because your hearts are made out of frozen ice, and you just hate all things happy. That's the only reason I can think of you not liking Vanar. But for those of us who are not so cold and jaded, but would rather give everyone else the cold shoulder, here is Blazing Prison. So as you can see right off here in my collection, I'm missing a few cards that are pretty good. The rares, sort of, and the legendaries. So, but anyway, I think this is an interesting deck. Now look at this distribution here. This distribution here. The idea of this deck is to have a lot of cards, especially early on, that you can throw out to sort of overwhelm your opponent, as well as have plenty of powerful end-game or late-game monsters to really put the whammy on your opponent. So this deck isn't just a bunch of, cheap little minions that don't do anything, but it is designed to give you a lot of sort of gumption, some oomph, some power, some punch right at the very beginning. And then, you can do more stuff. And there's a lot of synergies, and like I said, you can play this deck different ways, but I'll get to that in a second. So let's just go over the list. Obviously, we've got our Vanar General, because she's awesome. And we got Flash Freeze, like my favorite spell ever. Your enemy just sits there, drops out the 8/8 Star Metal Golem or whatever, and you're like, oh crap, and they're like, haha, I'm gonna rip your face off. They're like, what? How about no? How about a Flash Freeze? And you just sit there, and that minion's stunned and can't do anything, and then they're sitting there silently raging, and then every turn, you just keep doing that. And then basically, they regret the day that they were born. Maybe not that much, but they regret the day that they played that minion. So you'll probably won't get 3 right out of the gate to just sit there and piss off your opponent, but this card is great. Aspect of the Fox, because why not? Transforms any minion into 3/3 and removes all their abilities. So all of those minions that have super pesky abilities, like that Provoke minion that has 2/6, I forget his name. I'm really bad with names, I'm sorry. He should be right here. 2/6, 2/6. Cost 4. Primus Shieldmaster, this guy. So your opponent drops this guy, it's kind of a big mana burn with 4. And then you wolf that, you get out of a Provoke, and you get a much weaker minion that's easy to kill. And I mean, especially if you do it on the big minions. Take a 10-10 minion down to 3-3. I mean, there's just all sorts of uses for this card, and it's great. In fact, I would probably put one more in here if I could find something else to get rid of. Then we have Snow Chaser, which is Vesper, which will tie into something else we have going on. But we won't get to that now. But the great thing about this minion is, I mean, it has Infiltrate, so when it dies, it comes back to your hand. And it has 2 attacks, so it's not bad. For a 1-cost minion, it does 2 damage. And if it's on your opponent's side of the battlefield, it pretty much doesn't go away. It's kind of like Sarlacc without being that cheesy. I mean, I think I've played this card one time where it wasn't on my side, where it was on my side of the battlefield. So I feel like this is a really good, a high-value card for such. Wait, I think I said that wrong. Has high value mana for being this mana price. I think, 2 damage, and it's basically like Sarlacc, so it's just basically to sit there to piss off your opponent, and it's not going to really break turn cycles with costing 1. And then, so why do we call this prison? Well, there's 2 ways that we can go about this. We can either imprison ourselves, so that way the enemy has to pour a lot of resources to get through our defenses, which also pisses them off, or we can trap them in to where they would have to burn, either they can't summon minions, or they have to burn a lot of resources to get away, and they're still pissed off. So basically, the idea of this deck is just to piss your opponents off while also being able to maintain a lot of aggro. So it's called Prison because, basically you corner the guys and you just rush in and just put the whammy on them. And this also synergizes with Bree and Bear, which we have here. Right here underneath him. Whenever you summon a Vesper minion, he gains 1 attack. So ideally, if you could, you would draw this card, play it, and you would find a use for Bone Chill Barrier. So for 4 mana, you get a minion that has 4/3, which isn't bad because you've got Emerald Rejuvenator that's 4/4 for 4 cost. So it's about the same equivalence, and then plus every other Vesper minion you summon, this guy gets +1 attack. So it's an easy way to sort of turn this otherwise unimposing card into a force to be reckoned with. And then after that, we've got our spells. So as you can see here, we focus on minions, and we've got a healthy assortment of spells in this deck, because we want to just flood the battlefield, but we also want to maintain control. We want to keep the enemy we just want them to be pissed off the whole time. It's Blazing Prison 1 because of the card Blazing Prison, which we'll get to, and Blazing in the sense that they're so mad that they're blazing. They're just on fire, and they're ready to Hulk smash their computer and you at the same time, while you're just sitting there like, ah ha ha, come get me now, sucker! And, you're basically a troll, which is great. Everyone hates it, but it's great. Now, Chromatic Cold recently got changed. I've been playing this deck for a while, and before, Chromatic Cold would freeze an entire row. So, it would be really great for those late game defenses when you feel like you're overwhelmed, the enemy's coming in, and it's like, oh, we're gonna eat you! And you're like, no, you Chromatic Cold and freeze a whole row. And then, you do 2 damage, and also you piss your opponent off because now they can't do anything, and they've got a bunch of spots taken up. But now, I don't think it's a bad change. I think it's a good change, actually, and I've been playing with it today, and it's sort of just sort of laughing my ass off at sort of what's happening. So, now it dispels a space and deals 2 damage to an enemy minion or general on that space. Before, this couldn't be used on generals, I don't think, and it did 2 damage to an entire row and stunned them. But now it can be used on generals, and it also dispels a space. So it doesn't stun them, but it dispels, which dispel is very important in Duelyst. If you don't know anything about Duelyst, you will want dispel cards in your deck. So what dispel does is it takes effects like these and nullifies them, or effects like these to gain attack and nullifies them. So you get Death Watch, right? A minion that can be super OP if you are not able to answer for it right away. Death Watch is its name, right? But anyway, it gains +1/+1 every time a minion dies. Your minion or their own. So you get an ability like Chromatic Cold. It only costs 2 mana. 2 mana. That's a super cheap cost. And it deals 2 damage. So the Vitruvian's annoying little blaster guys takes those out. The ranged minions kills most of those, and if not, it takes away their range so they can't sit there and pepper you and be a real pain in your ass. Jaxi, counter for Jaxi, dispels Jaxi, and it also kills Jaxi, so you don't have those annoying ranged things way off in the corner of the map to sit there and just piss you off. So it's high value card. I mean, why wouldn't you run it? And then we've got Crystal Cloaker. Again, it's a Vesper, so it synergizes with the Berean Bear that we have here, and with the spell that we have that we'll get to in a little bit, and because it gains 2 attack whenever it infiltrates. So it's a 2/3, but if it's on your opponent's side of the board, it becomes a 4/3 for only 2 mana. That's absurd. And then, you play this spell Frostfire right here. It gains 3 attack and 3 health, so then it becomes, what is that? 7/6 for only 2. Well, that would cost 4 mana, but still. How many 4 manas are 7/6? Absolutely insane. We've got 2 of them, because A, they're Vespers, and 2, they're just really good, and 3, it's a very low cost minion. And then we've got our Ephemeral Shroud, another really low cost minion. It's really not there for its damage, it's there for its ability to dispel 1 space. So, your opponent summons a card, Magmar summons those growing minions, plop this down right beside it. Boom. Boom. Problem solved. You don't have to worry about those pesky grow minions anymore. For anything, really. I've even used this to troll and dispel mana tiles. Normally you want to collect mana tiles, but you dispel it and your opponent's like, what? Why would you dispel a mana tile? And you're like, because I wanted to make you mad. And it's really trolly. Frostfire, again, it's really good for Vespers, but it's really good for just anything, just to give it 3 more attack. Got 2 of those. Hailstone Prison. I think I would want more in here, but I have 1 for now. And it's basically another way to just piss off your opponent. Your opponent, say, throws down a Star Metal Golem, 8/8, or a Spectral Revenant. I think it costs like 6 mana, or whatever, but it does stupid damage. They summon that, and they're like, alright, next turn, ha ha ha. Wait while I have lined up for you. And you're like, oh yeah, well, take my Hailstone Prison. And then it goes back to their hand, so then whatever they had planned is completely ruined, because now they would have to resummon that minion, which costs a lot of mana, and they don't have that much mana, so either they're going to play the minion again, and maybe be a turn behind, or they're going to adjust their strategy, or possibly get mad, and make mistakes. But, you're probably thinking, well, the pros don't get mad, so that won't help. Well, they might not get mad, but it still pissed them off, and it's still funny. So it's great. Another reason why this deck is called Blazing Prison. Both off of this card. And then we got 1 Rock Pulverizer, because you want to lock your opponent down. It has a decent amount of defense, so it's going to take a little bit to destroy, unless, of course, they have a Dispel, and then this minion is basically worthless. But still, low cost, provoke, requires an immediate answer, with a Repulsor Beast to push it out of the way, a Ephemeral Shroud to dispel it, or something else, or they waste a spell on it, which is always good, because that's less that they have to use on your better cards. And then Blazing Spines. Another reason why it's called Blazing Prison is because of this right here. Summons 2 joined 3/3 walls that can attack. Okay? So you basically get 2 3/3 minions out of this card for 3 mana, which is absurd. They can also attack. They can't move, but they can attack. So here's another way. You can either block yourself out, you can box out yourself to where your opponent can't come in, or you can box out your opponent to where they're trapped and they're really frustrated. And plus, these things actually do work for you. They have 3/3. That can take out a lot of minions. And if not, then at least it'll put the whammy on quite a few. I just played a few games before recording this video where Blazing Spines did a lot of work for me. I had a Magmar on the run, actually, and he summoned 2 guys. He moved around my Bone Chill Barrier, summoned 2 guys. So it was like a U-shaped. I had Bone Chill Barrier kind of on a U, and then I had Blazing Spines on the other side. So he moved out of it, there was 1 space, and summoned 2 guys. And then I just had my Blazing Spines kill the 2 guys he summoned, and he was like, oh my god, I can't do anything! And then I killed him. It was great! And it was super trolly, which is what I love. And then Fenrir Warmaster. If you have a Vanar and you do not play Fenrir Warmaster, I don't know what is wrong with you. Unless this card gets dispelled, which it very well might. In fact, I would probably put a 3rd one in here just because it's that valuable. It's 3/3, does a lot of damage, and also And when it dies, it summons a wolf with the same stats. So basically, you get 2 minions out of this card. So it's going to be a headache for your opponent to deal with. Alright, we gotta hurry up. We're taking too long to explain this deck. I haven't even explained the multiple playstyles of this deck yet. I've just been ranting and raving about why these cards are in here. Saber Spine Tiger, Rush OP, not really OP, Rush. You need Rush. You gotta have Rush. Have as much Rush as you can. Right out of the gate, just come out and punch them right in the throat. Like, whoa, what now? And then they get really mad. So you don't have to wait an extra turn. I have 2 of them. Great. Snowpiercer, 3 attack, great. Now, I don't think many people run this minion, but today, in the matches I've played, it has done a lot of work for me. Venom Toth, 3/3, so it's got decent attack, okay defense, but the big thing here is whenever your opponent summons a minion, they take 1 damage to their general. So now this is obviously vulnerable to natural selection, Plasma Storm, unless that got nerfed, and I haven't read that yet. What's the Byssian one? Grasp of Agony? Void Pulse, I think. Void Pulse. So it is vulnerable to specific spells, but here's the thing. Songhai's Phoenix Fire. But here's the thing. You place it like in the very back of your map while you're rushing your opponent, so they're sort of overwhelmed on the front. And then every time they summon a minion, they get 1 damage. So you basically get free damage. And if they would also have to waste either a Dispel effect or a spell card to remove this minion. So that's less, say, for Songhai to sit there and just nuke you with the stupid Phoenix Fire spells. And that's 1 less natural selection, or Plasma Storm, for Magmar. So it can do a little bit of work for you, and as well as draw the aggro of some of their enemies' more troubling spells. But yeah, I think I played a match where this guy probably did like 6 damage for me before he was dead, and that was just from his attack. I mean, that was just from his special ability. So this was a more recent edition. I think I added him a couple days ago. But I play this guy every chance I get, and so far, especially on those turns, especially whenever your opponent doesn't have a spell right away, doesn't have an answer for this card right away, and they want to summon a whole bunch of minions to sort of respond to your overwhelming surge, it's just free damage right there. And then, your next turn, just whamming on him. And then Windrunner. I was actually considering taking this out before today, but it did so much work for me today that I decided I would keep it in here. Because it gives +1/+1 after it moves. So I had a Dragon Bone Golem. Is that what it's called? Yeah, Dragon Bone Golem. And what else did I have? I had a Draugr Lord on the map. And I basically had a Windrunner behind them. And he would just move back and forth in between them. So these guys had absurd attack power and defense. And they were just tearing through everything that the opponent had. And the opponent had already used a lot of his spell cards with sort of my general offense before my late game powerhouses. And so this guy also has decent attack and defense. 3/3, not bad. But the ability is really what's going to get you. Obviously, again, Repulsor Beast, Demonic Lure, attacked by the general, he's dead. Natural selection, yada yada yada. Vulnerable, but if you can pull it off, it can really do a lot of work. And it's not too shabby itself for a minion. Then Emerald Rejuvenator, I would prefer to have another one in here, but I don't have any room. As you can see, I'm at 40 out of 40. This is probably the rarest card in this deck, which is not very rare. Actually, I take that back because I have no idea. I got this card probably a couple weeks ago, so I haven't had it for a while. But I don't think it's like super rare, like a legendary or something. But anyway, Emerald Rejuvenator, because it heals you for 4, and it also has 4 attack, 4 defense, so it's not bad. I would like to have another one in here, just so that way I could have more. But, where are my... This, Healing Mystic. I think I skipped this guy. Healing Mystic restores 2 health. So we have some healing in this deck. We get 4 out of our 2 Healing Mystics, and then 4 more out of our Emerald Rejuvenators. So that's 8 health, which is nothing compared to the Magmar's 8 health from one spell, or the Lionar's Sun Drop Elixir, or the other health that they have. Healing Lionar's most annoying thing ever. God, I hate them. But anyway, so we have some healing in this deck. That way, if we're getting pressured, we have a chance to come back, to give ourselves the resources to go on to turn from defensive to offensive if we can. And then Lightbender is so powerful. I love it, especially whenever your opponent tries to surround you with provokes. Just bam, drop a Lightbender and say, suck on that! And then all of a sudden you're not provoked, and you get to run away and then destroy all their provokes. And they're super angry. We love it when that happens. Again, I would like to have another one in here, but I think I only have one. And then Winter Blade, I like this because it gives you 2 attack, plus it stuns the minion. So, Magmar, one thing I love about Magmar is their distortion spell that... I forget the names. I'm sorry, guys. Their spell that makes it to where enemies can't counterattack. So, Magmar has that as an answer to powerful minions. You just make it where they can't counterattack, and then you just wham on them with minions, and basically you make your opponent waste a minion. Well, Vanar's response to that is to stun the minion, or say you have a pesky minion that's not going to kill you if you try to kill it. You can stun it, and then run away the next turn. And plus it gives you 2 attacks. So, you get 2 snow piercers, so that's 6 attack, plus this. That brings your general's attack up to 10, which can kill anything, pretty much, unless it's powered up, plus stun. And then Young Flamewing, I might take this out, because honestly, I've hardly ever used it. I've used it a couple times today, and it was actually really useful. But I have it in here because it has pretty decent attack for a 4-drop, and it's flying. So unless it's provoked, it can go anywhere on the map to track down any of those pesky range minions. And it's probably going to kill them and still be alive to attack the general next turn. But again, I am considering getting rid of it. Arctic Displacer, Vesper, so it plays in with our Vesper synergy. But also, look at that attack! It's a 5 mana cost with 10 attack! What on earth is that? The only other minion we have in this deck with 10 attack is this dude right here, and he costs 7. So for 2 less mana, we get a 10 attack minion. That has airdrop, meaning we can put him anywhere on the battlefield, so we can just come right in and whammy! Smash him. And you know what? That Frostfire spell that we have gives 3/3, so then you can take this guy up to 13 attack with 7 defense, so now he's not too shabby, and now he's really putting the whammy on, really causing your opponent some distress. Again, the unfortunate part is Natural Selection OP destroys any minion, so you can invest a lot of points into this guy to get him to say like 16 attack, and then your opponent's just like, nah, Natural Selection, and you're like, oh my god, and then now you're the one raging. But anyway, it has airdrop, so you can put it anywhere, which is good if you're surrounded, and I mean, it has 10 attack, so it's just going to tear people up. And then we have Fire Blazer here, 5/5, which is not bad at all, and he provokes. So again, you get the idea here. I hope you're starting to see the multiple playstyles. This can be very offensive, and it can also be very defensive. You can either, like I said, you can go for the assault, you can strategically isolate certain minions to where they can't hurt you, or you can just go try to drive the opponent into a corner and just completely lock them out to where they're going to have a lot of work to do to get out of that corner, to get out of that prison we've built. And again, for 5 attack, unlike the other one we had up here, Rock Pulverizer. Unlike the Rock Pulverizer, who no one's going to care if they attack that, because it's not going to do anything, 1 damage. This guy, they're going to have to think about attacking, because 5 damage is nothing to snarl your nose about. 5 damage is serious, especially if the general's going to have to attack it. So they're going to have to waste a spell, they're going to have to use a Natural Selection, they're going to have to use a Mana Burn or something. Although I think Mana Burn got changed now to where it spells mana tiles. But anyway, they're going to have this requires an almost immediate response. And if they don't, then it's just going to beleaguer them until they cry, which is what we like to do, because we're terrible people. Rogue Warden, I have this in here. To be honest, I usually replace it, but it can be good. You have put Venom Toss in the back, and then this guy in the back, and then you can just sit there and pepper anything from afar. Basically, I wanted 1 range minion in here because I hate fighting range decks. They're the most annoying thing on the planet next to healing Linars. And it's not bad. It has 4 attacks, so it's going to do a decent amount of damage, and until something gets to it, it has 3 defense. So, Plasma Storm, Natural Selection, Void Pulse, those things. Actually, maybe not Void Pulse. Void Pulse. But anyway, I mean, there are a lot of ways to get rid of this card, which makes it almost useless, but if your opponent doesn't have an immediate answer, you know what? There's 4 damage that you're getting out of it from anywhere on the battlefield, which is great. Draugr Lord, again, Vesper synergizes with our other things, with our Borean Bear, with our Frost Fire spell. I'm probably saying that name wrong. But the other thing is, we also get high value out of this card. It's 4/8, so really high defense, moderate attack. But it also, when it dies, you basically get 2 minions out of this. So this deck, obviously, as you can see, is built around the highest value possible that you can get with your cards. You can probably do better, because again, I don't have all of the cards in the game, but for what I have right now, this is turning out to be pretty well. And again, it does pretty well because you get 2 out of this. And then Star Metal Golem, for no other reason than we want some late game answers. 8 out of 8. Dragonbone Golem, 10 out of 10. These things got to get dealt with immediately, or they're going to tear your opponent apart. And then Whistling Blade, because Provoke, because it has 15 defense, so it's going to both help protect you, where you can GTFO whenever the enemy's coming at you strong and you don't have many answers, and it's also going to take them a long time to kill it. I mean, again, obviously Repulsor Beast, Ephemeral Shroud, really takes the punch out of this, but there's ways to get around this. And again, we have 4 provokes, 3 provokes in this deck. So we have 3 provokes, we have 3 walls from Bone Chill Barrier, 2 walls from Blazing Spines, and we've got really good early game, pretty decent late game answers, and lots of spells. So that's why it's called Blazing Prison. Blazing both for the spell, Blazing Spines, Prison for Hailstone Prison and Bone Chill Barrier, and also for the idea that we're provoking them, we're cornering them, we're locking them in, we're throwing a lot at them all at once, getting the highest value we can out of our cards, and just really making them have to work to come at us. And while we just sit there and put the whammy on them. Can't tell you how many times this card has saved my life. 15 defense, that's just plain absurd. Doesn't have much attack, but it's going to take him a while to get around it. You know, Lionars obviously have it better, probably with this card, because what is it, Divine Bond, that gives a minion plus attack equal to its health. So that would make this guy 17-15, which is pretty much the game over at that point. So that's the deck. That is Blazing Prison. I have a lot of fun with this deck. I love Vanar. And like I said, I kind of threw it together and was surprised by how decent it was. Some things that you could consider adding. Polarity here is super powerful. And, you know, you can also use it to troll your opponent. They have, let's say they have a card that has 12 attack. Let's say, where's our Arctic Displacer? Let's say they have a guy like this. They have a 10-4 minion. They're like, haha, I'm gonna eat your heart out for dinner. And then you play Polarity. Well, you know what? Now their minion only has 4 attack. It has 10 defense. But with only 4 attack, they're going to have to work in conjunction with other minions, taking away available moves for your opponent to take out a lot of minions. Especially by the time they have enough mana to summon a minion like this. And look at it, it costs 0! So with Flash Freeze and Polarity, you can build on your turn, you can do a lot of control, and not even burn any mana, and then summon minions, and really piss these guys off. Which is what we are all about. As you can see, there's a lot of control, there's the potential for a lot of aggro to just rush your opponent, overwhelm them, and also there's a lot of answers. There's answers for a lot of those pesky abilities, there's answers for if they go on a summoning spree and summon a bunch of crap. I mean, this deck has answers to a lot of things, which is good. So it's flexible, but it also has really good early game and solid late game. Now again, obviously, you play badly, a few misplacements, a few missed moves, and you're probably dead. But that's in any division with any deck, really. Um, Another spell you might consider is Cryogenesis. I don't have it. Oh, Mark of Solitude. This is a spell you could add that I kind of want to add, but I'm not sure what to take out. Look at this. One minion becomes 5/5, but it can no longer tag generals. Well, you know what? Just take any minion. Give it 5/5. Then rush it up to the general. Drop our Lightbender? Is that what he's called? Yes, drop a Lightbender. You know what? He loses his can no longer attack generals. I'm pretty sure that works. I'm sorry, I had to think. I'm pretty sure that works. If you have a 5/5 general, or a 5/5 minion that can't attack generals, you move it in, then you dispel it with Lightbender. I think it keeps its 5/5 bonus, but now it can attack generals. I think I've done that before. If that's wrong, guys, please tell me in chat. I feel like I've done that before, or at least seen that done before, especially to me, and probably pissed me off, and I went and cried for 3 days and ate lots of Oreos. But if that's not true, then maybe I just made up that part about me crying and eating Oreos. Avalanche is another great spell that you could put in here. I actually had it in here before, but I found myself replacing it more often than not. It's an AoE, but it only works on your side of the field. So you lure people into your side of the field, then you GTFO and spam the crap out of Avalanche. Everything on that side takes 4 damage, unfortunately, including your own minions, but they're also stunned. So you could potentially eliminate an entire field of minions with this card. It's great. But, I mean, it's very situational. It can only be used if they come to your side. And if you're playing very aggressively, you're probably going to find yourself on your opponent's side. Unless you have to retreat. So anyway, guys, I'm going to end it here. I haven't unlocked all the Vanar cards, I'm pretty sure. So there's more that you can add to this, and I don't have all the neutrals, obviously. Like Jaxi. You could put Jaxi in here. Good card. Probably one of the best 2-drops in the game. But everyone runs Jaxi, and I don't like doing what everyone else does. Of course, someone's probably going to comment below saying, well, you know what, someone else has this deck, so you just do what everyone else does. Well, that could be true. I'm not claiming this deck is 100% original. I mean, to me it is, because I threw it together without consulting outside resources. But it very well could be posted somewhere. I don't know. But this is my deck, guys. I hope you enjoy it. Be sure to leave comments. Let me know. What can I do better? If you tried this deck out, how was it? Was it fun? Did you piss your opponents off and laugh? Were you a super troll? We like being trolls around here. Do you think it sucks? If it sucks, don't just say it sucks. Tell me why. What does it need better? Can this deck compete in Gold and S rank? Probably not, because it doesn't really have a lot of those legendaries to draw from. So you're probably going to be a little bit overmatched. You might also consider adding Glacial Elemental. But anyway, I feel like this deck can get you pretty far. It does decently well. You just have to, like I said, you got to be aware of what the faction is that you're playing, what sort of cards are at their disposal, and try to play around it. You got to have a Vitruvian, play around the Star's Fury. Don't let them screw you over by summoning 12 stupid dervishes because your minions are all spread out all over the place. You've got to know the situation is basically what I'm saying. So that's my deck, guys. Thanks again for watching, and I hope to see you soon. Be sure to follow me on Twitch. We'll be streaming Duelyst in the future when my PC gets here next Tuesday, the 5th, I think, of January. And Happy New Year's, guys! I almost forgot. Happy New Year's. I hope you have a great day. Party hard or whatever it is you like to do. And we will see you back here at Enigmaze on YouTube or on Twitch at twitch.tv/Enigmaze or on Twitter for updates on both streams and YouTube content or just in general, to chat. It's at Enigmaze_, like the underscore line, not actually written out underscore. But anyway, thanks again, guys. Have a great New Year's. Thanks for tuning in. And be sure to let me know what you think. And I hope to see you sometime in Duelyst.